podcast you're about to listen to is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of horror movie fans who chose to listen to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast.
With your host, Killian Gore.
Hello, and you're listening to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast, as it said in the beginning intro there. And yeah, we're on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre today. It's a big one. It's a big subject, isn't it? Luckily, I'm not that terrified as I would be if I was doing like Friday the 13th. That would terrify me, but I will have to do that at some point, obviously, So. But, yeah, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, spelt chainsaw. It has two words, isn't it, on the first movie? A lot of people get that wrong. Do you get it wrong? Yes, you do. Of course you do. Anyway, we've got a very special guest in the... I'm not going to say studio. It's not. I'm not in a studio. We've got a very special guest here today. It's the Chainsaw from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, hear it just crank it up here. Here it goes. Can you hear that? Woo! All right. Woo! Stop that, it's just a bloody sound effect. Right, so that was the Chainsaw from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was very nicely agreed to be on the show today. We're going to kick off with an excerpt from a story to set the scene. This is from the Horror Movie Massacre by Killian H. Gore. Very good writer. Sorry, I snorted. Ridiculous. Right, it's from the the Horror Movie Massacre. Interesting side note here. I do some like t-shirt designs, and I did one for the Horror Movie Massacre, which has the picture from the cover of the book there of me holding up a chainsaw, which is a real chainsaw. Not that one that you just heard. That one it wasn't real. What am I talking about? Yeah, so I did this t-shirt for the Horror Movie Massacre with me holding the chainsaw, like Gunnar Hansen from the movie at the end of the movie there, and it got removed. It got removed off Redbubble for copyright infringement by, is it Vortex? They call Vortex the people that apparently hold the rights. But I mean, it was Oh, I'm making a mess of my words again. Shouldn't do these, should I? Right. So yeah, it was like it was an original T-shirt from my story, the Horror Movie Massacre, and it was an original photograph. It was me holding up a chainsaw, and yet they removed it. Stupid people. You lot of Vortex are stupid. Anyway, I've lost the place in the book now because I was doing that. Oh no. Bear with. Again. I'd got... Here it is, I got it. Dwayne was much older than me. Despite his apparent strength and stamina, he couldn't outrun me. But he wasn't all that far behind. I had around 10 or 15 seconds to get to the bag and crank up the chainsaw. I could hear his footsteps crushing on the fallen leaves and twigs as he he approached me. He sounded dangerously close. Buzz, or that noise on there. The deliriously terrifying sound ripped into reality, slicing the morbid veracity away and heralding the entrance of a gruesome fiction onto the scene. Dwayne eyed the hard device I held in front of me and immediately stopped in his tracks. He was only around 10 feet away from me. He held up his hands, but he didn't run. Why didn't he run? He'd have run in a horror movie. I wondered, living right next door to the location, if he'd actually seen the Evil Dead. Surely he would have. Put the chainsaw down, son. Come on. Nobody wants to get hurt here, he shouted over the frightening mechanical racket. Well, if he wasn't going to run, I sure was. I charged at that possessed hillbilly, truly believing his eyes were stark and white and demonic as I lurched forward, chainsaw blazing and hungry to make history. He turned and made a desperate attempt to flee, but oh, how my best pal, the wondrous woods, were always going to be on my side, for they had cluttered his pathway with broken branches, oodles of the beautiful debris impeded his departure. It was going to be a whole different kind of departure for my star. He toppled over after a few frenzied steps, his futile attempt at scrambling to his feet thwarted by the tip of the chainsaw, shredding its way through his dank farmer's threads and into the fragile flesh they shrouded. Flesh that soon fired away from his his body in sloppy globs of bloodied mincemeat. There you go. That's from the awesome, huge horror movie Massacre. You can get that now. Please get it now. Okay? Did you? Of course you didn't. Let's go with our opening 5 questions. It's the opening 5 question. Oh, sorry, I should say, and I haven't bloody started the movie. Movie in the BG today, of course, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What else? No, I mean I do love all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels. Yes, you heard me, all of them. Yeah, but I've gone with part 1. The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young, but I should have opened with that, shouldn't I? Missed a trick there. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they ever have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So here's the opening 5 questions on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Who stars as Leatherface in the first The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974? Well, I've already said his name, haven't I? Number 2. Whose grave do Sally and Franklin and their friends visit at the beginning of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? 2 words, chainsaw. What does the hitchhiker that the group pick up in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2 words, chainsaw, demand $2 for? For what reason do Pam and Kirk leave the... Number 4. Did I say 4? Well, for what reason do Pam and Kirk leave the old Hardesty house? It's difficult to say, isn't it? Old Hardesty house. Eventually discovering Leatherface's home instead. And number 5. Which character does the hitchhiker say is just a cook? He's just a cook. So there we go. There's the opening 5. The opening gambit. What is an opening gambit? Me not know. Me not care either. I don't care. So yeah, they're the opening 5. So I'm gonna do some. Go to the manual. I do have a checklist, somewhere. Which, where is it? Of beats I have to hit during the show. Bloody gone and lost it, haven't I? That's stupid of me. What's this? What's this say? It's just a blank piece of paper. Why have I kept that? One of those hoarders. I'm gonna throw it on the floor though. There we go. That's better. Oh, here it is. Moving the BG, Incredible Horror. I've not got a down manual on this list. I'll add that in a second with this pen. I won't do it now. I won't bore you with that now. So yeah, we'll go to the manual, which was called the Horror Movie Dictionary primarily, and it was a copy of the when it was the dictionary that I actually gave to Ed Neal at HorrorCon t'other year. Was that last year? Yeah, last year. I've told you that story, haven't I, already? I seem to remember telling you. And he did a line from the movie there right in front of me. It was so cool. He's such a fun guy. Anyway, in the horror movie manual, let's look up the word chainsaw, shall we? Chainsaw, a portable mechanical saw commonly used for tree felling. In Texas, its predominant use is to dismember out-of-towners. He's hilarious, isn't he? And got Leatherface in here too. Leatherface, the central killer in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And sequels, prequels, and remake. His nickname refers to the masks he wears, made out of human skin. Depending on which movie in the canon you're viewing, his real name is either Jedediah Sawyer, Thomas Bubba Sawyer, Junior Sawyer, Leather Slaughter, or Thomas Brown Hewitt. Maybe for somebody who wears such a wide variety of faces, it's only apt that he should have so many names. He doesn't say an awful lot, comes across as a bit simple, and despite the title of the franchise, doesn't always use a chainsaw to kill people. In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, he doesn't kill anyone with a chainsaw. Jesus. Ridiculous. Although that's a good film, even though everybody hates it. Well, no, a lot of people hate it. And then Scream Factory released that lovely brushed up Blu-ray version, didn't they? And everyone's like, oh yeah, well, I like it now as well then. Sorry. It's terribly rude of me once. His most iconic portrayal is by Bubba. That's an answer to the question, so I can't say it, can I? In the first movie, Leatherface's hobbies include cannibalism, embroidery, and dancing with chainsaws. Dancing with chainsaws. Cannibals. That's just on the same page as chainsaw. That's why I just read it out, because they obviously are a cannibalistic family. We're one of those cannibalistic families, do you know? So there we go. That's the manual. Hope you enjoyed listening to that. So the next part of the podcast will involve a little bit of bit of trivia from the Incredible Horror Movie Facts Part 1 we'll go with to begin with. And it's this. Listen, écoutez. The house from the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2 words, I'll stop doing that now, I promise, was moved from its original location in Round Rock, Texas, to Kingsland, Texas, and is now a restaurant called Grand Central Cafe. Note, little joke here in the book, don't order the barbecue. Bloody hell, he's funny, isn't he? I wonder if it still is a Grand Central Cafe. Oops. Can you hear that? You can hear the clicks, can't you? Grand Central. I think it changed its name since this book was written. Grand Central Cafe. Texas. I'll put Texas. That'll help. Right. Yes. I think it is. Bit of an anticlimax. Yeah, it is. I don't know if they actually do barbecue. I think they do They do some sort of Texas Chainsaw style events, and they do exploit the fact that it is Texas Chainsaw House. Good on them. I mean, you should. I mean, the last thing any horror fan would want would be to show up as a fan, with their T-shirt on, and be told you're not welcome here. This is a quiet tea room. It's a quiet tea room. Go away. Well, they probably wouldn't speak like that. Sorry about that bang. Caught me hand. Yeah, this is what's a posh American accent? Do you have one? Sorry, I was rude. This is a real posh eatery. Now get my shotgun. Sorry, America. Sorry, so rude. Talking to America there as like one person. So yeah, it's the Grand Central Cafe. It's Kingland's fine dining establishment with award-winning fare, and is located in the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They've not done chainsaw as 2 words. Shame on them. This house, this beautiful restored Queen Anne home, was relocated from... Yeah, I've just said that. And they... did they open now? Probably not. Everybody's had to close. Oh, I thought that would take me to the menu. I was going to look at the menu. I thought that might have been interesting. Would that be interesting? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look anyway. Let's do dinner. Let's have dinner. And they serve eggs, chicken fried steak and eggs, or a breakfast burger. And this show's just taken a turn for the worse, isn't it? I'm reading out a bloody menu. Right, let's give the answers to the opening 5. Numero uno, of course, the original Leatherface was Gunnar Ensign. Where are they going, though? Number 2, Sally and her friends. They're going to their Sally and Franklin. Their grandfathers. Number 3, what does a hitchhiker demand $2 for? It's, of course, a Polaroid photo. He's just shot of Franklin. It's a good photo. That's a bad impression. It's a good photo, but a bad impression. And number 4, for what reason do Pam and Nick leave the old house? They want to go swimming, although the water is dried up and they can't go swimming. They go and get murdered instead. Number 5, which character does the hitchhiker say is just a cook? It's Jim Sidow's character, simply called Old Man in the credits of the first movie, but named Drayton Sawyer in the sequel. So there you go. We've had those 5 questions. I got a bit more real interesting trivia now for you. Check this out. The film struggled to find a distributor and eventually was picked up by Bryanston Distributing Company, which was a mafia-run organisation headed by Louis Butchie Perrino. Terrible with pronunciations. Perrino of the Colombo crime family. Colombo, wasn't he a good guy? As a result, the cast and crew of the film were financially ripped off. Gunnar Hansen has said that his first royalty check, 9 months after the very successful release of the film, was for, get this, $47.07. Can you imagine, I mean, you'd want to go out there with a chainsaw and cause some damage if you were ripped off that badly. Go to Louis Butchie Perrino of the Colombo crime family. With your chainsaw, I want some more money, I want some of the millions, or I'll chainsaw your head off. Butchie lied to the film's producers about the film's profits, and when Robert Cohn, investor and attorney for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, confronted him and his mafia henchmen, he threatened to sue him. Butchie told him, "You don't have enough balls to sue me." Eventually, the rights were returned to the filmmakers after Butchie was arrested on I hate doing 2 same letters next to each other, on obscenity charges for his involvement with the film Deep Throat. There you go. And we know the next bit, sad but true, the film was banned for many years in the UK by that rotter James Vernam. But yeah, it was released after he retired from the BBFC in 1999. Furman was notorious in Britain for banning and cutting movies, leading to the introduction of the Video Recordings Act of 1984. So, yeah, there you go. It seems nuts now. Because you can walk into a supermarket and there's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You go in Tesco, or if you're in America, what's your shop? Walmart. And, it wasn't banned in America, so, you can't relate to this bit. So don't listen to this bit. Right, well, I've finished it now, so you can carry on listening. But I actually saw it when it was banned on a VHS copy, a pre-cert copy that my friend at school sold me for $15. Or I think it was £15 or £20. It was somewhere around that mark, And yeah, I still remember watching it that first time, and just being disturbed. I was very much disturbed by it. I just found it. Just it's another word for disturbing. I can pedal out, but yeah, that's it. It was one of those. It was truly disturbing. I mean, now, I've watched it a million times. I don't see it as... I saw it disturbing in a kind of upsetting way, I guess, to begin with. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. Like it would a Hollywood action film or a comedy. I didn't enjoy it on that level, but I do now. It's gone more twisted over the years. No, but now I appreciate it. Sorry about that clap. I appreciate it more as a work of art, and a piece of entertainment. And there's Ed O'Neill now on the screen just slicing into his hand. And the chortling to himself as the group watch on in horror there, Franklin there, about to get the I nearly said the snip. About to get cut himself, doesn't he, in the arm there. And a lot of people aren't that keen on the character of Franklin. And neither am I. No, he's great, really. He's supposed to be annoying, isn't he? So yeah. Would do the next question, shall we? Number 6. How is the hitchhiker killed at the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And number 7. Lick my plate, you dog dick. Is a quote from which Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? Might say that again a few more times during the show. Which performer from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 makes an appearance at the beginning of Leatherface? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Number 9. Guess the Texas Chainsaw movie from the following review. Offers few psychological insights into Leatherface's behaviour, but it does give bloodthirsty fans the chance to witness the mask's grisly creation. And that was Peter de Bruges Variety. I probably said your name wrong, Peter. I'm terribly sorry, Peter. Number 10. This is our true or false. 10 is always true or false. Have you spotted that? Before changing the name to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the script was called Head Cheese. Now, is that true or is it false? What do you think? So there's the next 10. And I'm going to look on here for our famous... It's not famous. We're going to look at some of the bad reviews. I think I tried to find these the other day for me Idiocracy Horror, which you might see on my sock mid-ear. Let's have a look, shall we? Hey, let's have a look. Let's see what some of the haters say. Have you ever noticed on that site, Bloody Disgusting, it seems to be a cesspit of haters in the comments. Anything they post is just like, I'm a miserable person and I hate everything. Oh, it winds me up. One of the most annoying, worst and annoying movies I've ever seen, says the first one in the list. I'm a huge horror fan. Oh, huge horror. You read my quiz book. And as such, I feel very strange that this movie is so revered and well-oiled. Because, oh, nice, oil. You put oil in a chainsaw. I don't know how they work. Maybe you do. Because other than being one of the first slasher movies, I can't find anything remotely redeemable about this film. The first half is so boring that I had to force myself to pay attention. And the second half is a noise-filled, annoying mess. Ooh. Don't watch any of the Marvel movies then. The only frightening part of this movie was when I realised I still had another shrieking Benny Hill chasing 30 minutes left. I take it you're from the UK, even though you called Miami 1925. I'm still in shock over just how bad this movie was, given the amount of praise there is for it. In short, chainsaw revving, slow jogging through the bushes, bloody idiot, Miami 1925. Were you born in 1925? Is that your issue? I'd like to see what else. They've been a member for 9 years. Frankenfish. They've reviewed Frankenfish. Please give it a really high score. That'd be hilarious. No, they didn't like Frankenfish either. Probably one of sci-fi's worst movies. Arrival is beautifully made, intriguing, suspenseful, and intelligent. So they liked Arrival. I can see what kind of films you go for. What a strange batch of movies they've chosen. the 4 reviews that Miami 1925 has felt the need to speak about are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Primal, 2010, Arrival, and Frankenfish. Maybe they're just the only 4 that they ever watched. So yeah. I also wanted to in this look at the many sequels, and of course they're working on another many sequel at the moment, aren't they? In Bulgaria. Which had just had the directors walk out, didn't they, or get shoved out or chainsawed off the set. Yeah, they've gone, whoever they were, and somebody, a Texan, is going to be directing it. I don't think he has many credits. David Blue Garcia has come on board. And the departure of the twin brothers. So some twins have been fired. I can't find their name, but I'm terribly sorry. But yeah, good luck to them. You know, I'm sure I'll dig whatever it is, unless it's you know, real bad. Like badly made. I mean, that's the problem that I find with a lot of people that just slag off horror movies or any movies, is that, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into making a movie, and, you know, people aren't setting out to make something bad. You know, their hearts are in the right place, and they're just trying to produce something that they hope you'll enjoy. Okay, sometimes they're doing it for the money, and you know, maybe they're not doing a great job of it. But see, a lot of the times I don't feel like they are, you know, because there's probably not a lot of... For a lot of people, there's probably not a great deal of money to be made in the movies. It's just the distributors, isn't it, and the producers and all that. So, you know, the actual people, the directors and the cast and everybody and the writers, you know, they just want to create something brilliant and scary, and then, you know, so many people just come along and it's like, rubbish. Because it's like, you get the impression with a lot of reviews that people think movies are made specifically for them, and if it doesn't adhere to exactly what they want, then it's bad. Ugh. I'm not this moody in real life. I swear. Right. Where the hell were we up to? Do you remember the next... Oh, why have I done that? I've lost the bloody bookmark. I put it back. Right, so we was doing the next, those next five. How is the hitchhiker killed at the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And he is run over by a truck. Lick my plate, you dog dick. Here's a quote from Which Texas Chainsaw? Of course, part 2, said by Bill Moseley. Is that how you say his name? I'm sure it's not. Number 8, which performer from Texas Chainsaw 2 makes an appearance at the beginning of Leatherface's? Of course, the Dabby Dozy Caroline Williams. Stretch. She's good. She's a good horror lass. She's done a fair few horror films, hasn't she? Saw her, wasn't she in one of Leprechauns as well? I saw her, and of course, Victor Crowley. Is it Victor Crowley? No. Is it? Oh, bloody hell. Mr. Gore. You can hear me typing there, trying to cover up my lack of knowledge here. I think it's Phyllis Rose in part 4, and Caroline Williams is in another one, isn't she? Is she in 3? Is it 3 she's in? Da 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 da. Yeah, Hatchet 3. I was right. Do have some knowledge. Tales of Halloween as well. That's a good one. But we're on a Halloween 2. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't like that was rubbish, everybody says. But no, again, it's... You're wrong. You're all bloody wrong. Stepfather 2. And Texas, it's like it's doing part 2s. I do part 2s, me. I'm Caroline Williams. And part 3s. Yeah, she's at the beginning, uncredited. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Okay, on with the show. Number 9. Guess the Texas Chainsaw movie from the following review. Offers few psychological insights into Leatherface's behaviour, but it does give bloodthirsty fans the chance to witness the mass grisly creation. Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Again, you know what? I like that one. It's a lot of fun. Very grisly, though. Very grisly. Quite bleak. And number 10... The True or False Head Cheese. You all know that one. It's true. Yeah, it was head cheese. Because it's that... What is head cheese? It is something real, isn't it? I know maybe it's something in America that you've got a different name for. Because you guys say blood sausage, don't you? And we say black pudding. Although probably soon we won't be allowed to say black pudding, will we? Head cheese is brawn. Or brawn. Oh, do we call it brawn then? It's a cold cut that originated in Europe. It's not a Texas thing. A version pickled with vinegar is known as sauce. Head cheese is not a dairy cheese, but a terrine or meat jelly, often made with flesh from the head of a calf or a pig, or less commonly, a sheep or a cow, and often set in aspic. What the hell is aspic? I'm not going to look up aspic because I'm not that interested, to be honest. Right, we'll move on to some more trivia for you. From Ink Horror 2. Incredible Horror Movie Facts Part 2. And just before I do that, let's carry on with the movie in the BG. They're in their Ford there now, driving along, and they just reached the Sally's grandfather's whatever. They drove past it, and I should have looked up at a more interesting moment, shouldn't I? Just sticking on the house now. Oh, they're driving even closer to the house. We'll come back to that. Right. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 we have some trivia about. The actor behind the popular character LG. Oh, sad story here now. In Tobe Hooper's gory sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, tragically had a violent and bloody end to his own life in 2009. Lou Perryman, 67, had been in his home in Austin, Texas, when 26-year-old Seth Tatum showed up at his door with an axe. Tatum was just months out of prison for aggravated robbery, and before randomly selecting Perryman's house, he had attacked his mother's roommate, Carl Drake, fracturing his skull with gardening shears, which he had also used to cut Drake's hands and head with. After walking to Perriman's house, he butchered him with an axe and stole the actor's car, which on the following day he drove to the Travis County Courthouse, where he simply said, "By the way, that's a stolen car, and I'm pretty sure I killed the owner of that car." Tatum had a history of mental illness, having been diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic symptoms. He had been off his meds and drinking heavily on the day of the attacks. He was convicted of murder in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison. Strangely, Perriman also had a small role in the supposedly cursed Poltergeist movie, leading some people to believe the curse was related to his untimely and tragic death. Oh, that's a very sad story there for poor Lou Perryman. One of the, great stars of Part 2. It's a great character, isn't it, as well, that he plays. Oh, that's brought the tone down, hasn't it? I'm sure he had another bit of trivia here. Yeah, it's again from Part 2. Despite Bill Johnson being credited as playing Leatherface, most of the shots containing him holding his iconic chainsaw were filmed with stunt performer Bob Elmore. This was on account of the chainsaw being too heavy for Bill Johnson to lift. It's too heavy for me, that. I'm not lifting that. You might go off and cut me ruddy head off, he famously said on the set. No, he didn't really, did he? So we was looking up the franchise. Let's go through the franchise. It was up before, and now it's not. That's annoying. It's annoying of you, Google. Bloody Google. Googly boogly. Right, yes, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 so far. And with a 9th on the way. And, one of my faves. Again, it gets dissed a fair bit, and it's not fair. It's Texas Chainsaw 3D. Yeah, it's an awesome film. I mean, that's probably one of the ones I watched the most as well. I just dig it. I really dig it. Written by Adam Marcus, of course, who's just Fanderry Dozy, isn't he? And then there's the recent one, Leatherface, again got pooped on by Jarl. And that one was shot in Bulgaria, wasn't it? What's it say there? The screenplay story of a man who loses his sense of identity was derived from actor Gunnar Hansen's origination of the Leatherface character. What? Was Gunnar Hansen somehow slightly involved? I know it's got a Tobe Hooper's involvement, didn't it? In name, was it just perhaps in name only? Yeah, because that one had trouble, didn't it? Coming out, it was just stuck there forever or something. Sorry, in limbo. Originally slated for a 2016 release, but it didn't come out, did it? Took forever to come out. When did they actually? Can I just bear with? Oh yeah, there we go. On August 13th. August 13th, 2014, it was announced that Seth Sherwood would write the film under the title Leatherface, And then those French guys were hired to direct. I can't pronounce their names. Can you? Julien Maury and Alexandre Bustillo. And they started filming. Was it? Lily Taylor came in 2015. Started filming in 2015 in Bulgaria. There you go. There you go. And yeah, it just didn't come out until 2017. 5, 6. It's quite a few years. Anyway, Eddie Road. Better crack on with the quiz. Yes, it is time to crack on. We do our last 10 questions now, don't we? That's how it works. That's the format. Which Texas Chainsaw movie features number 11? Which Texas Chainsaw movie features appearances from future Hollywood stars Renee Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey? Number 12. Who was the only Leatherface actor to have played the character twice? Is it? There's a choice here. Andrew Birin, you know the guy. You know what I mean. Biraneski, Bill Johnson, or Dan Yeager. Number 13. After directing the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which other horror film franchise did Marcus Nispel reboot in 2009? Number 14. Which Texas Chainsaw movie features the following cast members? William Butler, Ken Foree, and Viggo Mortensen. Number 15. In both the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and its 2016 prequel, what is Leatherface's real name? I've already told you those earlier. Were you listening? Which Texas Chainsaw Massacre film 16 this is? Am I describing? There's the house. Sorry, it's on a different line. There's a house fire, a hitchhiker, a pool table, a graveyard, and a fun fair. Number 17. What is the slogan engraved onto the chainsaw in Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3? Number 18. Finish the tagline from the original theatrical poster of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Who will survive? Number 19. Which character and actor from the original The Texas Chainsaw Massacre reprised his role in Texas Chainsaw 3D? And 20. Which well-known American actor stars as Texas Ranger Hal Hartman in Leatherface 2017? It reminds me there. I got some interviews with some of the Texas Chainsaw folk in my What's Your Favourite Scary Movie book. If you just bear with me, I will grab it. It's down here. It's down here somewhere. Here it is. Beautiful cover on that one. Kitchen knife. It's a kitchen knife. Here we go. I didn't pre-look at this, but I've got Marcus Nispel in this book. I've got him. I've captured him. This is where he lives now, in the pages of this book, trapped forever. Nispel. Right. So let's listen to the questions and answers that Marcus Nispel gave to my 13 questions. Just hold on. Thanks for letting me have that sip there. Getting a bit dry. Right, what's your favourite scary movie, Marcus? Oh, he's not here. I'll read them out. He said The Exorcist. There you go. Who is your favourite horror movie director? He replied, there are many. John Carpenter came to mind first, if that means anything. Number... Sorry, not numbered. Thought I was doing questions again. What's your favourite type, subgenre of horror movie? He said possession and haunted house flicks. Haunted house flicks are the only ones that give me goosebumps. Must be the silence and long intervals that creep me out. And then I said, what's your favourite bad horror movie? And he said, if I like it, I would not call it bad. Lucio Fulci's Zombie, or as we say here in the UK, Zombie Flesh Eaters, is rough on the edges now, but there were many ingenious moments. Indeed there were, Marcus Nispel. What would be your favourite horror double feature drive-in choice? I would pick some oldies. Blood's Black Sunday and probably Suspiria. Who is your favourite horror movie killer? Michael Myers in Halloween, he says. Interesting. Not Leatherface. Or Jason, because he did the Jason. Oh, that's an answer to a question, just giving it away. What is your favourite horror movie creature? Monster. H.R. Geiger's Alien, he says. And what is your favourite horror movie franchise? For a while it was Alien, and then he doesn't say what else it was. Stop it, Gore. What's your favourite horror movie sequel? Aliens. And what's your favourite horror movie remake? All remakes suck, he jokingly says there. Just kidding. I liked the Evil Dead remake a lot. Obviously, the gag there is that he did Texas Chainsaw remake and Friday the 13th remake. What's your favourite horror television show? None. I've tried one myself. TV is not the right medium. It can be creepy, but never jump out of your seat scary. I disagree with you, Marcus. What's your favourite zombie movie? George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. And what has been your favourite Halloween costume? To have anyone dress up as a character from one of my movies is the greatest flattery. Or actually, maybe that would be the guy who tattooed scenes from my Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake all over his body. There you go. I've got some other alumni from Texas Chainsaw in this book. One of my faves being the Fandabby Dozy Dan Yeager. He's a very nice, friendly chap. Considering he plays, Leatherface. There's a few, actually. I've got Bill Johnson in here, too, somewhere. He's another interesting character, I seem to remember. Just trying to find Dan Yeager. Yeah, I'm looking for you. There he is. He's quite wordy. Very wordy. So, let's just look at who his favourite horror movie killer is. He goes with Grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm a sentimentalist, he says. And we'll just look at his Halloween costume now. What was his favourite Halloween costume? A good friend made me this steampunk skull monster that was incredible. You can see her other work. He just uses this as an advert. You see her other work at shadowmasks.net. Other than that, I always enjoy a sexy witch. Not for me personally, when properly executed with enthusiasm by a young lady. It is the essence of Halloween. There you go, it's Dan Yeagers. I'm running out of time, so let's do the final 10 answers. And they are: which Texas Chainsaw has got Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey? Yeah, we know that. It's, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, originally called the Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, and one thing I'd again like to say about that film, because I've obviously already said that, I dig it. And one of the reasons I do dig it is I think it's definitely, I'm going to use the word definitely, the only sequel that has the same tone as the first film. It feels like it's properly rooted in the same world, that it could have just been shot straight after. That's what I think anyway. I don't know why a lot of people hate on it, but they do. Looking at the movie on the Blu-ray on the BG now, she just got into the house there and it's full of feathers. There's a chicken in a cage. Right, sorry, I ain't got time for that. Who is the only Leatherface actor to have played the character twice? It's the one I can't pronounce, Andrew Biraniarski, who flatly refused. Let me tell you this. Should I tell you this? I'm going to, yeah, because I think I put it in one of my books. But yeah, he flatly refused to do my What's Your Favourite Scary Movie interview because Dan Yeager was in the book. He said, I'm not doing anything that Dan Yeager's a part of. This is rivalry between the Leatherface actors. I guess he was bitter that he wasn't allowed to play Leatherface again in Texas Chainsaw 3D. So that's all it is, isn't it? He's just bitter. Because I know he did. I seem to remember he really relished being that character, which is, I suppose, is lovely, isn't it? That he loved to be Leatherface, and he was just like ticked off that he wasn't selected to be in the 3D one. I've lost the. Excuse me. I wish I could edit these things out, but this show is recorded live. I've told you that before, haven't I? And so you will just have to listen to it, warts and all. Because that's how I roll. Sound. Right, it's just something for the... Yeah, there we go. Something private. It's not really. It's Just the sound effect for the end of the show. I've spoiled it. It was going to end with the chainsaw noise. There you go. Spoiler. Spoiler alert. Which, after directing the remake Texas Chainsaw, which other film did Marcus Nispel do? I've told you. Friday the 13th. Which Texas Chainsaw movies got William Butler, Ken Foree, and Viggo Mortensen? William Butler, he's another nice guy on social media. And that's, of course, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3. And Texas Chainsaw's Leatherface's real name in the remake and the prequel as Thomas Brown Hewitt. I'm Thomas Brown Hewitt, and welcome to my house of chainsaws. Which Texas Chainsaw Massacre film am I describing? As a house fire, house fire, a hitchhiker, pool table, graveyard, and a fun fair is, of course, the one I've already wonderfully described. It's part 3D. Adam Marcus. Do I have Adam Marcus? Hang on a minute. I think I do I? He'd be a good one, even though we're overrunning. Marcus. Did he get him in the book? Oh, I didn't. That went nowhere fast. I think I've asked him questions for other books, so he's involved in some other books. It might be Incredible Horror. I think it was, yeah. I asked him where the lake was in Jason Goes to Hell, and he informed me it was stock footage from the first film. So there you go. You know that now too. Slogan engraved onto the chainsaw in Texas Chainsaw 3 is "The Saw is family." And finish the tagline from the original poster: "Who will survive and what will be left of them?" 19. Which character and actor from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre reprised his role in Texas Chainsaw 3D? It's somebody that Dan Yeager mentioned earlier. Thanks for that, Dan. It was Grandpa Sawyer, played by John Durgan. And which... That's the wrong section. There, where am I? Which well-known American actor stars as Texas Ranger Hal Hartman in Leatherface 2017? Stephen Dorff. It was Stephen Dorff in that one. Right, I better end now because we're running out of time. I've probably forgotten a million things, but that's what I do. Let's yank up, crank up, not yank, crank up the chainsaw, and I'll say goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast.